Welcome to the seedy underbelly of Fiverr.com. It's a place where the unsuspecting and naive come to offer their services, only to be taken advantage of by deceitful scammers. And in this video, we'll be looking at 5 of the most common scams that freelancers face when using Fiverr every day. And I'll also be giving you the proven solutions of how you can overcome them, including one of which that inevitably forced me on a manhunt for a buyer that scammed me out of $1,800. But I'll reveal more on that later. Now, before we get into the darker, more disrespectful scams, I want to start off with the ones that will affect you the most. The ones that you'll come across on a daily basis if you're already offering your services on Fiverr as a seller. And if you take away anything from this video, let it be this: naivety will cost you money and time. Now, to explain what I mean, let's jump into our first scam, which I know for a fact many of you working on Fiverr face every single day. Everyone wants to build a relationship with you, but not because they want to get to know you better, but because they want a cheaper price. And they seem to think that by using the phrase, "I'm looking for long-term cooperation," and following up with, "So can you give me a better price?" you'll immediately turn around super excited and give them a massive discount, because naively, you now believe that they'll be coming back week after week placing orders with you. And well, that couldn't be further from the truth, because the only thing that the buyer cares about is getting the cheapest possible price. Sure, there'll be the odd unicorn that's telling you the truth and will purchase another gig from you next week as well, but how can you trust somebody you just met? The truth is, you can't. And if you do decide to give them a hefty discount on the first order and they never make a repeat order, or they do but 6 months later, you're going to be pretty annoyed. So what can you do? Well, first of all, make it clear that you only offer discounts on bulk orders. So to qualify for this, they'll need to place the order ahead of time for what they're already promising you. And the second approach is to simply say that you don't offer discounts on first-time orders. However, you'd be happy to provide a suitable discount on the next order they place, because at the end of the day, if they come back for a second order, then they're a valued customer. Okay, this is one to watch out for, essentially for 2 reasons. Now, the conversation will normally go in one of 2 ways. The first option being the client will insist you contact them on Telegram to discuss their big amazing project further. And of course, they'll type out the word Telegram in some cryptic way so that it doesn't get auto-flagged by Fiverr, as Fiverr's rules and regulations are pretty clear. You can't take communication outside of the platform. Otherwise, you could face a 30-day violation warning, or worse, Fiverr could just disable your whole account. And the other way is when you believe the customer is quite genuine and you've already spent 30 minutes discussing the whole project on Fiverr, only to be finally met with the fact that they're apparently having payment issues, but they can pay you outside of Fiverr instead. Now, as a seller, they already have you on the hook. You're expecting a decent payday, and let's be honest, you deserve it after wasting 30 minutes of your time discussing the whole project. But don't be fooled, because are you really going to sacrifice your whole Fiverr account for one guy that's full of empty promises in the hope of earning $100 at the end of all of this effort and faff? Yeah, I didn't think so. As most sellers on Fiverr will know, you can set how many free revisions you offer per gig, ranging from 1 to unlimited. This basically allows the client to ask you to change things X amount of times until they're happy. But unfortunately, the truth is that some clients will never be happy. However, they'll definitely try to get their money's worth, or in some cases, try to get their money back by taking advantage of the revisions you offer. A common practice once you deliver the project is for the client to put it back in revision, asking for something to be changed. And of course, revisions are expected from time to time because the chances of you getting everything perfect first time to the way that the client is imagining it are generally pretty slim. So, you've delivered the project and they've asked for a revision. No problem. You make the changes and deliver again, only to be met with another revision. Now, this will end up happening 3 to 4 times until, in the worst case scenario, the client turns around and says, "You know what, let's cancel the order." Now, you face a catch-22. Are you going to say no and keep providing revisions until finally maybe they accept, but then leave you a 1-star feedback which will affect the chances of future orders? Or are you going to accept that you've just wasted a ton of time and effort on something that you're not going to get paid for? Well, the solution is simple. Don't think about offering unlimited revisions. Offer just 1 or 2 free revisions, after which the client will have to pay for any additional ones. Now, one thing Fiverr is not is a candy shop. I've personally experienced this multiple times where clients have these large projects, but before they offer you the job, they want you to create a sample for them. And normally the sample size they're expecting is one whole segment of the project they have. Now, that's not a sample, that's providing free work. And if they're at the point where they're not willing to pay you for a sample of your work, even at a discounted price, the chances of them wanting to pay a reasonable amount for the entire project they're offering you is very low, if not zero. So what can you do? Well, your first option is to provide the sample if you really want to try and secure the work. But before delivering it to them, make sure you add your own large watermark to the project so that it can't be used as free work, because this is just meant to be a sample piece which they can use to decide whether or not you're the right freelancer to go with. And secondly, if you have a portfolio, then you can just send them that instead. This should be more than enough to give them an idea of your style of work without needing to create a sample for them. Remember, you're not a candy shop. You're a professional who offers a specific service. Just like a car mechanic, a lawyer, or even a painter and decorator. You wouldn't ask them for free samples, would you? Now, here comes a personal story. First of all, if you ever get a person who's offering you more money than you're asking for, or doesn't even question spending a couple of $1,000s on a project that will take you 3 to 4 days to complete, be very wary. Because this is exactly what led me down the road of a manhunt, to the point where I was even calling the office addresses and the phone numbers I found online associated with this particular buyer. So, what happened? Well, the buyer provided a sample video of an Imangeji video sales letter to his online agency. And basically, he just wanted to copy it, including the presentation format, but instead, just swap out the branding for his. So I gave him the price of $1,800 because it was like a 25-minute video. The guy, without any hesitation, was like, sure, send me the offer. 5 minutes later, it's all accepted and I'm working on the project. Skip ahead a few days, when I deliver the project, he comes back with 1 revision, and that's to change the background color of the presentation. Of course, this is no problem, and I get it sorted in about 20 minutes. But then the next revision comes, and this one is a bit strange, but he says, sorry, it's still not what I'm looking for. Now I'm thinking, there is no way I'm losing out on $1,800. So after re-delivering multiple times and getting nowhere because the guy keeps putting it back in revision with no proper response, finally Fiverr step in and cancel the order. After which, I go to his website and what do I see? My video being used. Now, the manhunt begun, and a long story short, I got nowhere. However, because Fiverr could see the situation I was facing and the fact that I had done everything possible, they did compensate me $900 from their own pockets, which I never expected. So, if you ever face this kind of buyer, make sure you bullet point exactly what's going to be included in the order so that when you do have trouble, Fiverr can see that you've delivered on exactly what you said you would, and hopefully you'll be given some compensation. So, as you can see, Fiverr can sometimes be a stressful place, but considering they get over 4.2 million users each month, well, a few shady characters are definitely to be expected. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn some more hard truths about Fiverr, then go check out another one of my videos I recently made, where I dived into 4 of the most important things I wish I knew before starting on Fiverr. Otherwise, take care and I'll see you in the next video.